From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
5:30 on this Thursday morning. Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Andrea Lutz in for Victoria Hill. Hi, Miller.
Well, hello, Andrea.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing good. By the way, how's the little one doing?
She's great. She's fantastic. Yeah, she's walking, she's talking, she's eating, she's doing all the things. Yeah.
All the joys of being a parent. Yeah, buddy, you got some good days ahead of you. I'll tell you that.
I have so much ahead of me.
That is so awesome. No, all right. Hey, it's quite start out there. We do have some clouds, a little bit of snow, maybe in the lighter snow in the higher elevations of the Beartooths, but that should be about it in terms of our moisture. Clouds going away today. Downslope flow will warm us up even more, maybe some 70s by tomorrow. How about that? 43 right now at the airport, feels like 37. Humidity at 74%, the winds out the southwest at about 12 miles an hour. Let's take a look at some temperatures across the viewing area right now. We've got 34 in Huntley. Hardin sitting at 32, 33 in Crow Agency. Down at Basin, we're sitting at about 34. Warmer in Livingston, sitting at 52. Gardner, 43 right now. You can see a lot of 60s across the area today, even warmer tomorrow as we're going to try to get into the low 70s. We'll fall shy of that today, I think. We'll get up to about 67 here in Billings. I don't think anybody's going to sneeze at that. Not too bad. All right, Miller's random number of the day. I've got this up on my Facebook page if you want to take a guess. The number is 4. It has something to do with spam. What do you think it is? Go to Facebook or shoot me an email. Get your guesses in. The answer comes up before 6 o'clock. Andrea.
And our top story this morning, the family of a girl killed in a tragic car crash on Virginia and Rimrock is filing a lawsuit against the city alleging negligence. Q2's David J. spoke with the family and their attorney about the case.
On February 2nd, a pickup truck hit a Toyota Camry that Christine Croft was driving with her sister Emma as a passenger. The intersection of Virginia Lane and Rimrock Road was not on their normal route.
We had gotten a call from Billings Clinic that Emma had been in a car accident, and so we tried finding out where Christine was, and we kind of have a system with our kids that if you don't answer and I ping your phone with Find My Phone, that's your cue that you need to answer now. Call me back. So she wasn't returning that, and finally a fireman answered and told me, so I called my husband while he was on his way to the crash site and was able to tell him before he got there.
Now Michelle Croft and her family are seeking justice by filing a lawsuit alleging negligence on the part of the city of Billings and the driver of the pickup truck.
Just trying to figure out the best way to move forward for our family and the best way to honor Christine and Emma.
The suit states the city was aware that the intersection was unsafe and dangerous and knew the line-of-sight distance for motorists at the intersection did not comply with recognized roadway intersection design standards.
The wall went up right around 2008, and that's, of course, when the concerns first started. We had reached out to representatives of the city and made a claim, which is required under the law when you're suing a municipality. And unfortunately, the response to that claim has been rather dismissive.
Q2 contacted city officials Wednesday afternoon and has not yet heard back. Just a few weeks ago, crews put up traffic signals at the intersection. The city said in February the signals had been in the works for months and not in response to the crash.
We kind of feel like our girls are the sacrificial lambs for this. This needed to be addressed a long time ago.
There are other dangerous intersections in this city, and the city has their identified list, and they need to act more quickly. You can see she was a girl of great faith. And that faith that she had guided her in how she presented at school, how she presented with her family. And it's a loss for all of us. And we feel it was very preventable. It was absolutely preventable.
She was a good kid. A lot to offer. This is going to be every day for us for the rest of our lives. You know, we move forward without her every day.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Well, the 14-year-old boy accused of shooting a 15-year-old near Lake Elmo earlier this week is released from police custody. Right now, the young victim's condition is unknown after being rushed to the hospital. The shooting happened around 6 o'clock Tuesday night. At the same time, Adam Danielson was out for his nightly walk. He heard the whole thing go down. It's something he says he'll never be able to shake.
It was the most distressing scream I've ever heard. I had no idea it was kids, and once I did, it just kind of wrecked me. You hear somebody screaming for help. You hear somebody screaming for their life, begging at that what could be their last moment on earth. And there's nothing I could do.
Well, any possible motive for the shooting is still unknown at this time. Police say they are still investigating. Now to an update on the Gabby Petito case. The hunt for Brian Laundrie could be over after suspected human remains are found in Florida. Police were looking for Laundrie since Petito vanished in August. CBS's Laura Podesta has the latest.
Investigators are working to identify human remains discovered during the search for Brian Laundrie. They were found yesterday in a wildlife preserve south of Tampa, along with his notebook and backpack.
These items were found in an area that up until recently have been underwater.
Laundrie was reported missing over a month ago. The 23-year-old is a person of interest in the death of his fiancée, Gabby Petito, whose body was discovered in Wyoming. She and Laundrie had spent the summer on a cross-country drive, but he returned to Florida alone in September.
Our evidence response team is on scene using all available forensic resources to process the area. It's likely the team will be on scene for several days.
Laundrie's parents joined the manhunt on Wednesday morning. Their attorney says they advised police to search a trail that their son used for hikes. The remains were found there in a frequently flooded swampland known to be teeming with alligators.
If we can get DNA, they'll use DNA. But you can be able to turn around within 24 to 48 hours with a quick test.
For weeks, protesters have gathered at the Laundrie home, urging them to cooperate with authorities.
Anything that provides answers for Gabby Petito and provides justice for Gabby Petito, I am all for.
A $30,000 reward for information leading to Laundrie is still posted. The FBI stressed that it has yet to ID the remains. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Last month, a grand jury in Wyoming indicted Laundrie on the charge of using another person's debit card without authorization. The charges doesn't say whether the card belonged to Gabby. The FDA is paving the way for millions more to increase their protection from COVID-19 by authorizing the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson booster shots. Officials say any approved booster is okay, regardless of which shot was initially given. The authorization covers Moderna recipients 65 and older or at high risk because of their job, living situation, or underlying health conditions. Any J&J recipient 18 and over is also eligible. Global health leaders have their eyes on a new COVID-19 subvariant. The AY42 subvariant is a descendant of the Delta variant that's thought to be even more contagious. Officials in the UK say it makes up an estimated 6% of cases in the most recent week of data. And experts say cases of the variant are rare outside of the UK, but it's still too early to know if it is a concern. Well, the city of Billings will end up spending just under $30 million on the purchase and renovation of the Stillwater building in downtown Billings. We did get a look at the inside space, which will become the offices of those currently working in City Hall. Officials say City Hall has become too cramped with multiple people sharing offices, and the Stillwater building is mostly unfinished. But officials say it's the perfect spot to create a new law and justice center.
What this building does allow for is, significant growth in the city. This building has the square footage, to accommodate, all the city's needs, going out 30, 40, 50 plus years.
The plan is to eventually sell the current City Hall. Construction on the Stillwater building will start in the spring of 2022, being completed in 3 years. Montana's new restrictions on abortion are headed to the state Supreme Court. Attorney General Austin Knudsen appealed a ruling blocking the restrictions from being enforced. The judge in the case also indicated he would likely find the laws unconstitutional. Planned Parenthood of Montana is suing, calling them an invasion of women's privacy. And the U.S. Supreme Court could rule as early as today on a request to stop a Texas abortion law. The Justice Department wants to reinstate a district court judge's ruling that paused the law. The pause was quickly overturned. The Biden administration filed a lawsuit against Texas, arguing the law is in defiance of the Constitution. Well, certain parts of President Joe Biden's spending bill are on the chopping block, especially policies meant to change climate change. Reporter Joe St. George shows us what's in and what's out and how it might affect our environment for years to come.
The transition to the future of how we power our homes has already begun.
And you can see our meters here on the wall.
Plenty of businesses nationwide, like the Jones family farm in Connecticut, have already installed environmentally friendly solar panels to generate the electricity they need.
The energy we're generating does not have any carbon as an output associated with it.
Tom Harbinson runs an entire wine distribution building off their solar panels, but while some businesses say the switch is a no-brainer, others are more reluctant. That includes some utility companies who generate the country's electricity. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, 2.3% of America's electricity is generated through solar panels. 60% of electricity comes from fossil fuels like coal and natural gas.
When I think climate, I think jobs.
President Biden believes the more the country's utility companies rely on fossil fuels, the harder it will be to stop the planet from getting warmer. It's why he supports the Clean Electricity Performance Program. The $150 billion proposal rewards utility companies transitioning to clean energy while penalizing utility companies that keep the status quo. However, the New York Times first reported last week that plan is likely getting removed from the pending spending legislation in Congress. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, whose vote is needed to pass anything, reportedly doesn't like the idea of fining utility companies. He also announced this week opposition to a carbon tax proposal that would fine companies that emit carbon. Manchin's position on climate now very much in line with Republicans like Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming.
The House Democrat plans will effectively end any new oil, natural gas, coal, and hard rock mineral production on federal lands and waters.
But just because some climate change policy proposals are off the table, it doesn't mean every climate change proposal is off the table. $4,500 tax credits to buy electric vehicles are still tentatively included, as is a proposal to spend $10 billion to create the Climate Conservation Corps, where thousands of young people would be paid to help fix the environment. Not to mention tax incentives for building wind turbines and other renewables are still included in the bill. President Biden is also committed to executive action on the issue. But environmentalists like Professor Leah Stokes with the University of California, Santa Barbara says these new cuts to the plan hurt.
The Clean Electricity Performance Program delivered about a third of the pollution cuts in the package. Those are really critical policy. And the answer cannot be, oh, gee, shucks, we lost out on that. That's okay.
In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
Bank fees are rising as more Americans say they are living paycheck to paycheck. Overdraft fees rose $33 this year, and a new bank rate study also found monthly fees on interest checking accounts reached a record high. In addition, the average balance required to avoid fees went up 31%. But there is some good news from the study. Banks offered more free checking accounts, and ATM fees actually went down. Scientists are trying to determine how much sleep is the perfect amount for older adults. Washington researchers suggest sleep is best in moderation. They found both short-term and long-term sleepers experience greater cognitive decline than people who sleep between